Hello, and welcome back to Anime Corner of Stone Soup.
Still Sean, still Nan.
Rhiannon, hello. Today we will be, amongst other things, we will start with a review of Death Note, and we'll also do a brief discussion on animes you can watch for Halloween. So starting with Death Note, which was originally written by Sugumi Oba and drawn by Takeshi Obata. Is that Obata? Yeah, excuse me, Obata, my bad. Sorry.
Our handwriting needs work.
Anywho, we haven't read the manga. We saw the anime when it was shown on Adult Swim.
Decidedly not kiddie fair.
Whew, no.
At first glance, the concept is the Death Gods have dropped a notebook that when you write a name in it and you're thinking of the person's face, that person will die within a few minutes or at a designated time that you write down.
Mm-hmm. If you don't say when, where, how they're going to die, they'll just fall over dead of a heart attack within minutes. This notebook, a Death Note, is picked up by a young man named Light Yagami. He's a senior in high school, about to go into college, extremely smart, and as we later learn, a little bit nuts. He finds the book, reads the instructions, which for various reasons are actually written in English. Of course, at first he's like, oh, come on, that's not going to work. So he tries it. You know, he's watching the news, hears about this guy who's holding, what were they, elementary school students?
Yeah, I think that might have been it.
Hostage. So he figures, whatever, writes the guy's name in the book, and a few minutes later, he's dead.
Whoa.
Shaken, again, still slightly in denial. Light sees someone else committing a crime, writes their name down. Here, somebody says a name.
A couple of
this
guys
time he specifies, gets hit by a truck, and
store.
It happens. Now knowing that the book works, Light goes right off the deep end, decides to remake the world in his own image by taking
He will eliminate all the worst criminal scum.
Now on the surface, that seems fine, except he starts to define anyone who tries to stop him as evil. And that's where it gets bad.
Yeah. Basically, the police take issue with criminals suddenly dropping dead in droves for no apparent reason.
It's a little
those
strange.
Still in prison.
So they set up the groups trying to find this person. The crowd in general begins calling him Kira.
The Japanese pronunciation of killer. Mm-hmm. They make this point.
And leading the group becomes the supreme detective, L. He never reveals his real name because if his real name gets out there, he'll probably die. And the rest of the series is basically the chess match between Light and L as they try to outwit each other.
Light trying to get L to reveal his true name so he can off him, and L trying to get Light to admit that he's Kira.
Mm-hmm. It's like watching a chess match, only interesting, with lives on the line. It's just mind game on top of mind game on top of mind game. I mean, it just gets freaky. And we meet
the Shinigami.
Yes. Light meets the Shinigami who dropped the notebook in the first place, Ryuk. And unlike in Bleach or Searching for a Full Moon, this is not, a pretty human person who's a ghost. This is more of a demonic creature.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah, these Shinigami are
high-octane nightmare fuel.
Yes. These Shinigami are best described as creatures. Why they are in charge of how we live and die is anybody's guess.
Well,
but
part of the comment was that when they write someone's name in the Death Note, that person's remaining lifespan goes to them.
Oh, yes, I do seem to recall that. But isn't that if they just cut the life off early?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes. But either which way.
Because when these Shinigami look at you, they see your name over your head along with a gobbledygook mathematical formula that only they can understand that tells them exactly how much longer you got to go before you're supposed to die.
Of whatever.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. So, for them, picking out people's names and faces is easy. For us, we actually have to know ahead of time.
Yeah. Tiny issue.
Mm-hmm. But, and it turns out, Ryuk dropped the book on purpose because he was bored. That should tell you a lot about him right there.
Yarr.
We can't reveal the ending, so we're not going to tell you who wins. But suffice it to say, this is 2 seasons long, and it's 2 seasons of sitting on the edge of your seat going, oh my God, what are they going to do now? Which is part of the reason.
Next move? The knight or the queen?
Pawn to B6 or whatever. Don't play chess.
Yada yada.
Which makes it a very good series to be watching on Halloween. Because, hey, creepy, weird creatures.
Very melodramatic.
Now, melodramatic means, kind of faux dramatic.
Oh, true.
So it's very dramatic.
Mm-hmm. Basically, it's a drama, not an action piece. So if you're big on drama, you might want to pass.
If you need constant fight sequences, this won't be the series for you. But if you enjoy drama, if you enjoy thinking, you'll like this one. The ending had me on pins and needles because I literally had no idea what was going to happen. And after years of watching TV and movies and reading books, I'm pretty good at guessing endings. So that says something right there.
And of course, Brad Swaley's acting as the English voice of Light.
Oh, yes. He was brilliant.
Yeah. Considering the first place we heard him was as the hard put upon Moose in Rama 1/2, this was different for him.
Oh, yeah. We found out like many voice actors, he's everywhere. But, this, he just shined right through.
Yeah,
I mean,
really
they
got
all
to get his chops
did a great
out.
job. Mm-hmm. So, as we say, depending on your taste, Death Note can be a very good anime. But again, not recommended for the under, I would say, 16 or 15 crowd.
Yeah.
It can be very intense at times.
Yeah.
And that's our review of Death Note. Now, as Halloween is coming up, as we said, this is a good one for Halloween. A couple other series we'd like to recommend. Vampire Princess Miyu. Both the original 80s OVA and the TV series that came out a few years ago. They have two different storylines. So,
the general concept is young lady gets turned into a vampire. Actually, technically, she was a vampire to begin with.
She was born a vampire. She just hadn't awoken to it yet. Different take on vampires, but everybody has a different take on vampires. And there is no sparkling.
And her general mission is to destroy these things called Shinma.
Sort of demonic creatures. So, and basically, again, kind of like Death Note, it's kind of dark and slow. It's a dramatic piece, not an action piece, although there is the occasional fight scene. Because, demons don't tend to go down without a fight. Also for vampires, there's Vampire Knight, which is a much more recent series.
She'll have to talk about it most because she's the one who's seen it, courtesy of Yes Anime TV, I believe.
Yes. It has a few plot points in common with Twilight, except it has a detailed, multi-layered plot and three-dimensional characters you can care about. So, unlike Twilight, it's actually...
It's 1,000 times better.
Yes, it's very good. It's very interesting. I'm not 100% pleased with the ending, but I'm still chewing it over, if that makes sense. But, basically the high school girl who has in love with a vampire and that kind of thing, but, with interesting things going on and plot twists. But again, dark, creepy, good for Halloween. And then, of course, there is Rumiko Takahashi's Mermaid Saga. Don't let the name fool you. This is not Ariel and Friends.
It's actually based on the Japanese myth of mermaids that when you eat a hunk of flesh, you will become immortal, with a twist.
Mm-hmm. Basically, the idea that if you're very, very, very lucky, you'll become immortal. If
or
you're not,
just drop dead.
Or worse. We'll let you see the series to find out what worse is. It comes in... Basically, there's a set of...
flavors.
Yes. Basically, there's sort of a manga miniseries, and later they made an anime adaptation of most of it. There was one story that they didn't do because even by their standards, it was too dark and gruesome, which, when you think about some of the things you see in anime, should tell you something.
This would be Mermaid's gaze.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're all called Mermaids this, Mermaids that.
And considering this came from the same mind that created Rama 1/2 and Inuyasha and Urusei Yatsura, that's saying something.
Yes, this was Miss Takahashi's walk on the dark side. Inuyasha is by and large sunshine and rainbows compared to this. And again, this is not one you should be watching if there are children present. I saw Mermaid's Forest the first time. There was an OAV of Forest and Mermaid Scar back in the early 90s or maybe the late 80s, and then they did a full series in somewhere in the aughts. But you saw that, I was like 12, 13, and it unnerved me then. So, I didn't like fish to begin with, so it's like I'm never eating fish again.
We've kind of fixed that since, I think.
Mostly, yes. Depends on the fish. But anyway, now we don't watch a whole lot of horror animes. To tell you the truth, that's our main list right there. So,
Can't really think of anything else off the top of my head, really.
Guys, oh crap. Can we help you?
Yeah, I just learned something important.
Dare I ask?
I just learned something important.
You're not on the line, dear.
I'm not on the line?
There you go.
Okay. I just learned something important. Next Saturday night's crappy sci-fi flick is Red, Werewolf Hunter, a descendant of Little Red Riding Hood, played by the girl from Dr. Horrible.
Oh, God.
Is tasked with dispatching those grandma-munching meanies.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
In an action fable called Red, Werewolf Hunter. Watch it.
There's a little joke in our family. Sometime back, as part of a convention masquerade, we did Red Hot Riding Hood that had, me dressed in this bright red, sexy little get-up hunting the wolf. Basically, I was the bait. So, you know, for us, that's kind of an in-joke.
Where were we? Mermaid Saga, yes.
Yes. Basically, okay, we don't watch a lot of... Oh. Anywho, like I said, we don't watch a whole lot of horror animes. So that's our primary list for scary anime you can watch on Halloween. And our review of Death Note.
In general. So,
bye. Enjoy and happy Halloween. Bye.
Bye.